Well, we want to take you live to Cleveland, Ohio, where One America's Ash Kargaran is at the DNC. He is talking to Don King. Hi, Ash.
All right, we're live with Mr. Don King himself. Mr. King, can you explain to the American people why is it that you haven't officially endorsed Donald Trump, but why is it that you support Donald Trump and his platform?
I support Donald Trump because he said we will create a whole new system. We will tear this system apart. America first. I want to make America great again. I love the American people, white and black alike, every race, color, creed, and religion. And so I'm not a Republican, nor am I a Democrat. I am a Republican, and I fight for the rights of the people. And so I'm fighting for the white woman, for their rights, and for the poor whites, because they have used them and misused them with false promises and taking things out of context, distruths, and they've been able to put a system together that Donald Trump recognized from the very essence because he was a part of that system, and he put himself in harm's way to be able to help the American spirit. Everyone goes for what they think is going to be. But the matter of fact is that they must give yourself a chance to vote for yourself by having a system where delegates don't vote for the destiny of your lives and the lives of your children. And they have no constraints, restraints, or control other than the goodness of their conscience. That is ridiculous. He said the system is rigged. I agree that it is rigged. You know what I mean? So we got to be able to deal with what is real, and we must give that white woman her rights. And I speak of black people of color and all consequential. That means black mother, father, and because they were slaves. And so they're in the group that they've been taught to be hated against. And you must remember one thing, that John F. Kennedy, June 10th, 1963, he made a speech about the nuclear age. He said, above all, we must not put a nuclear adversary in a position of either a humiliating retreat or nuclear war. He said nuclear exchange would devastate us in 24 hours. Well, I'm not promoting American death. I'm promoting American life. And so when you find a man who recognizes what the system is, the system says if you try to eliminate me, then I will eliminate you, i.e., John F. Kennedy in a limousine, Robert F. Kennedy on the kitchen floor of a hotel, Martin Luther King on the balcony in Memphis, Malcolm X in a ballroom in New York, Abraham Lincoln, the founder of the 13th Amendment, to be able to give indentured servitude and involuntary servitude the right to vote. And to demonstrate this system to my fellow Americans, you must understand that they will use black fear, the blackness and Negrophobia to scare you, but at the same time they were exploiting you, and that's why you have what the 1%ers. All the money goes to the 1%ers, and the rest of the money is spread out, with you, which is nothing but 1%. You know what I mean? And they, with the 1%, owns everything. So we can't afford to have that. That's why I was so happy that opportunity to have Robert Herring put me in an interview with Ash here on this television station here, because we're going to talk to you, and we're going to talk man to man, woman to man, and give the women their rights. Because we must understand something. And they would scare white women, the favorite crime would be rape. Rape and pillage and all these kind of things, yet the savage that they were threatening to be rapists, the savage that they were threatening that was going to be the boogeyman, they gave the savage the right to vote 50 years before they gave the white woman the right, that she's the mother of humanity, and she gave birth to them, and yet she was considered property and inferior. So you take it from there. When he said we're going to destroy this system and make a new system, I became an advocate for the people, and the people chose Donald Trump to lead the movement. I'm a part of that movement because I love you.
So it sounds like you're a big fan of him being an outsider and not a career politician. Are there any of his specific policies that you are a fan of, whether it's building a wall, whether it's a call for a ban on Muslim migrants? Is there anything like that that draws you towards him? People
power is what I want. The dealing with people under the auspices of what would be good. I think it's Matthew 5:48, where they come to him and say, Master, if I would see thee, I would feed thee if thee was hungry. I would clothe thee if thee were naked. And if we were there, if you was in prison, I would come and visit thee. And then he said, verily I say unto you, whatever you do unto thee, the least of them, you do also unto me. All right? So then he said, but the left hand, if I came to you and you didn't feed me, if I came to you naked and you didn't clothe me, if I was in prison and you didn't come and visit me, He said, all the devil's angels would be working against everything that's holy and righteous. You know, he says, so in other words, tell the truth. He said, and you got a man that said, William Cullen Bryant, say the truth crushed to the earth will rise again. The truth gives emphasis to marriage. The truth gives emphasis to family. The truth gives emphasis to life. You must understand, without truth, it's all a fictitious plot. And so it's time now, with a man who has the intestinal fortitude to put his family in harm's way, to put his life in harm's way, to do a betterment for the American public, and a non-politician, an outsider, let us ride with what's best for the people. 3 words, we the people. You know what I mean? We the people is what it is, governed by the consent of the governed. We didn't know half the things that we know about our country if it hadn't been a Donald Trump running. That was because these were things they've had hidden. They were backroom conversations, under the table, behind the room. You know, now we done brought racism out in all of its different flavors and every multifaceted way that they could be brought out. And so if he don't be president, at least we know what time it is. This is a corrupt situation. No one denies that. We have never had, since the 13 colonies left and fought against England, to be separated from this form of government, had we had such a consensus of opinion that we have now. A unified consensus of public opinion that the government is corrupt, that it considers the white woman property and own property and inferior, considers people of color own property and inferior, and it makes right wrong and wrong right. And so we have the law, and the law is upheld by the courts. And so people, we don't have no chance. With the opportunity to get an opportunity to be able to take back your life and take back your government and get jobs instead of running business out of the country, bring them back into the country and be able to respect each other. We are our brother's keeper, whether we want to be or not. And we must use that word that Aretha Franklin sings, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, respect. Walk in another man's shoes to find out what it is about history, culture. And you'll find out that you can make people come together, be together, and work with each other and die with each other. When you say come to the fight, the Viet Cong, the fight this one, the fight well, they don't care about no color then, bring you in there. But when you come back home, then they want to situate and put you in a position of this category, that category, this category, that category, and you are being left out. So we, the American people, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish the perfect welfare, you know, we want to say this day we do a day we establish this Constitution. Let's make it work, American people. My fellow Americans, I love you. Let's bring it to the whole. Let's make it work, and let's do it, and we can do it together. Together we're better, and we can work together for the betterment of mankind. And I got a lady I want to recommend to you that's empowering women's rights, the World Organization, the Women's World Organization. It's the one that had Maria Shriver, which had these big banquets in California. She took it over, and now she went internationally, and she's doing great for the women. So the women need to get their rights. They can't get to pay for the same work. They can't, all of these things you're begging for, and this is 2016. And in 1776, they said a new nation conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. All men and women are created equal. Let's go to the videotape.
Now, you talk about women's rights and, you know, equal pay for equal work. That's something that Hillary Clinton's been pushing a lot on her ticket. Can you explain why you think Donald Trump would do a better job at that than Hillary Clinton, who is a woman herself?
I love Hillary Clinton. I made a commercial once that she would be the first lady president. But Hillary Clinton said she didn't say she want to change the establishment. She want to change by degrees. You're within the same situation. And you must understand something. Do not decry the white supremacy lie, because it is one of the most remarkable mind setting, behavior setting, custom, tradition, and reinvent itself, you know what I mean, rebrand itself, and they can make themselves an advocate for women's rights when Donald Trump just came into being 6 months ago, a year ago. All right, what about you women? What have you been doing before then? And what will you be doing after then? You can't change a corrupt system within a corrupt system. The system has cancer, that's what they say, and the cancer is colorblind. It kills indiscriminately with impunity, without consequences, but with consequences of your life. So now let us deal with what is real. If we got a system that we're going to create together, we go back to the founding fathers where they would run 2 people for president. The one with the most votes would be president. The one with the second most would be vice president. So we got to deal with that, not with some unknown electors that we know nothing about, that has no restraints, no constraints, no control, and they say what they say is what it is, and what do you have to vote for? What do you do if you take bribery? What do you do if they can send in a prostitute and sneak you down and make you whittle your thing down? Nothing but the vote of their conscience. Do you want your child, your life, your children's life to be governed by somebody that you don't know nothing about and with no methods of control?
Now, Mr. King, we heard you speaking about unjust killings. I'm sure you've heard about the recent killings of Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, unarmed black men. What about, and also the police killings in Dallas and, of course, Baton Rouge the other day? Can you speak on that?
Yes. This, again, is the system. When the system is going one way and it's one person losing their life, first of all, let me say this. I am a friend of the policemen everywhere. I bought $100,000, $200,000 worth of bulletproof vests back in 30 years ago from New York Police Department. They put me in the PBA. They made me a friend of the policemen everywhere. Give me my badge, license to carry. I can do all of those things because I love them because they're community-oriented to be there. So you find a few that would be bad. That's why I applaud Governor Nikki from South Carolina. She broke against the system, and she declared the man charged with murder who shot a black man running from him 8 times in the back. You know what I mean? And then they seen him put down a gun or something by him, and so he could say, yeah, he had the gun there. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. You cannot, goodwill people of America, freedom-loving people, white and black alike, cannot tolerate this type of thing. So what do we have here? All right? You have a young man that gets killed in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right? So now, they see it on TV. It ain't like it when it usually, because you have no chance if anybody shooting you and you ain't there, because a white man can tell a lie and it's believable. A black man can tell the truth and it's questionable. So you have no chance. But here they see it on TV. All right? Then he goes to Minnesota, and it was this young lady, whoever she applauded to have that type of calmness, to be able to tape and a battle where her man is getting killed, and she's talking to the officer. Well, why did you shoot my man? He took 4 bullets. You don't want to do this. And it was the most admirable thing I've seen. And she did it, and they see this. Now you got a veteran who just came off of several tours in Afghanistan, and he see what he's been fighting for, the country that he loves. He put himself in harm's way, and he see these things happening, and so he decide he's going to adopt the method of death. Today, what day will I will tell when I'm going to die. I'm going to commit suicide. But I'm going to do something to make it hard. Those are heroes that were the fallen but not forgotten policemen and the 2 people there. Those 7 people's lives have brought a whole new era to thinking and talking. Even though they're still getting killed, let's get to the table and search out the truth. Let us find the truth and let us utilize the truth as the truth is supposed to be utilized. Do something about this to bring us together, because under the skin, we're all the same. And so we got to understand that when we do this, we're going to save lives, not keep on borderline on people trying to become addicted to some type of heroism, as they would do in my brotherhood in the Middle East, where they all want to die in order to go and find themselves, as a martyr. Well, we don't want to start that, to be addicted to that here, because it'll be a true Holocaust. And I want to say that we must support our police, but St. Thomas Aquinas, he says, you must be in tune with God's law. An unjust law is no law at all. And so you must be able to understand that when they make these codes, as Hitler did in Germany, he made the Jew code, and he was trying to annihilate the Jews, and he said he felt every evil and foul deed, a Jew had to be a participant, and he believed it so much that he ended up killing 6 million Jews. Because when you say racism, the ultimate reason that racism is genocide. It's no empirical evidence that so one person is better than another. It's an ontological situation. So we can't be caught in that in America, the home of the free, the land of the brave. We can't afford to allow ourselves to be put in this type of situation. I love white people. I love them like they love me. We have been able to do many things together to work for a better America, black and white alike. But dealing with humanity, mankind, not with somebody with some sample of this and a sample of that, and this is wrong and that's wrong, by the content of their heart and character. And I have to say that William Cullen Bryant was right. The truth crushed to the earth will rise again. And Thomas Carlyle says no lie can live forever. You know what I mean? And so you got Russell Loring. He said that the wrong is on the throne, but there's God back in the shadow, guiding over who would be right and wrong. You understand? So you got to be able to understand. Don't just say these Christian ethics. You have to deal with them. Isaiah 5:20, he says, woe unto one that will make the bitter sweet and the sweet bitter, the darkness light, dark and the light, dark. He put it out there for us to understand. And it says in Isaiah 40, it says, those who hope in the Lord, can soar on wings, they can renew their faith. Soar on wings like eagles. They can run and not be weary. They can walk and not faint. Let us come together and deal with what is real. I love you, America, and I want to be able to demonstrate that by changing this system. So forget about that women vanity point. That's misguided emotionalism. And people of color, forget about just giving your vote to the Democrats with no recourse based upon what somebody say. We've been getting promises for 300 years, and we ain't got nothing yet. Unkept promises is what we have. So we got to fight for what is right, and we want it in position. So I'm going to ask Donald Trump to write a bill of particulars, a bill of rights for the women. Not that stuff you got to keep begging from, what is her name? Alice Paul. Alice Paul in 1923, she discovered and wrote the ERA. That's the Equal Rights Amendment. It's still in on the Congress station right now, 60 years later, or whatever it is, not gone. The states have been picking it up by themselves, 1 or 2 states here and there, but the ERA don't have them. Women are people too. And I'm fighting for them to get their rights because we really will never get our rights until that woman gets their rights. And I'm going to fight for that woman till I die to get her rights, her God-given unalienable rights, a life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness and choice in this great nation called America.
Now, Mr. King, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you any boxing questions. Do you have any exciting events or any up-and-coming fighters, exciting fighters that you want to talk about?
Yes, I have one from Dallas, and that was so hard because we was getting ready to go to Dallas. The sheriff was having me down. His name is Charles Hatley. He went to Australia and knocked out the champion and became the champion for all of that area. All right, so now I got him fighting for the world's title now, and he's going to be fighting in the next 2 or 3 weeks. He's going to have a purse bid, but I'm going to try to make a deal with the guy who has the champion. But he's a tremendous fighter, and we got another one named Emir Ahman. Emir Ahman is a terrific fighter. He was already had the mandatory defense for the title. He took a fight and he didn't go. He went in sick. He lost it, but he came back and redeemed himself, knocked the guy out in the 2nd round. So he goes back into the mandatory position again. And so I want to be able to get fighters. And I did develop one heavyweight. His name was Bermain Stervain. He won the heavyweight championship. I think Wealth TV was carrying it. We took it and we won. And he didn't do what he's supposed to do, so he lost the first defense to Deontay Wilder. I'm going to get him a rematch with Deontay Wilder, but we're going to use those fights to show people that if you have your intestinal fortitude and you have the love for people that we have, let us exemplify it, let us bring it to the fore, and let us fight for the downtrodden, the underprivileged and denied. Let us fight for those who are not capable of doing for themselves, and let us bring about free health care for the American people, and especially the aged. Let us educate our children. Education, education, and education, free education. We can support all these countries that we're in with all these different agreements that we have. All of them got free health care, free education. We're the richest country in the world. We don't be the poorest country in the world because we're supporting every one of them. They said declare war on America and then establish the Marshall Plan. You know what I mean? Then that means they pimp us for the rest of the time. You know, so we got so many people that's pimping us, we don't know where to go. We're in $1 trillion worth of debt. How you going to ever get from under debt if you don't be able to start thinking about America first? Donald Trump. We will create a whole new system. We would tear this system apart. America first. Jobs, 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 jobs. I want to make America great again. Better trade deal. We're going to make America great again, but we can't do it without you. So come on board now. Let's give us a chance to make that lie come true.
All right, Mr. King, I appreciate all your time.
I love you, and I love Robert Herring, so I'm just so happy. And tell old Charles I said hi to. There's going to be a madness going on here. A movement is on for the people, and we're going to fight for the rights of the people. The lumpen proletariat, if you're talking about Karl Marx, but we're talking about Americans, and no one can be prouder. And if you cannot hear us, we will say it a little louder. We are Americans, and we're going to fight for what's right for you.